And we're looking at exactly 10 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. Once again, the mystic vibration and this wonderful, according to, the tracking of time, the evening of the 28th day of 2018, talking about March. And of course, once again, this is the mystic vibration with you. We're now into the shock of the hour. And of course, the Honorable Priest Isaac with you. Honorable Priest Kidem Shalom Isaac. Just being thankful again for your presence. And even before we go too far, I just want to say a blessed Earth Day as well. I won't call the age, but a blessed Earth Day to Sister Jade in New York. Sister Jade talking about Jade Arundel, and Victory of the People movement, all the way. Victory of the People movement specifically. And that is a sister that is doing a lot of work in her community as an activist and dealing with post-slavery trauma and other things of the like. So, enough respect and blessed to her and her family even in this blessed and special day. Now, of course, for those who are listeners to the Mystic Vibration, let me just tell you that we have officially sealed up the series on symbolic writing, but obviously we are not complete with the whole aspect of symbolic writing. In fact, the reason why we did that, how many parts we had? So we did 5 parts. 5, that's about almost 5 hours worth of just reasoning. And of course, for those of you who have already subscribed to the monthly Mystic Vibration package, we'll be also putting in the mystic we did a few strongs prior on Anansi itself and a few other things. So you're going to get a different package altogether. But so we have completed that series now, and we will be still using the foundation that we gathered dealing with the whole understanding of symbolic writings and go into whatever else we definitely have to craft in this Mystic Vibration season. Okay, so let me just say once again, for those who have not subscribed, I'm telling you that you are given the opportunity to receive the shock of the hour every evening. For example, we're in the shock of the hour now. Right now, we're into the shock of the hour. And of course, the topic for the shock of the hour. That's why you hear the reality of UFOs. So we'll be going into that in a few moments. And really, the shock of the hour is the meat of the Mystic Vibration. This is the main event as such. So this aspect where the knowledge, the raw knowledge and information and even the inspiration is being meted out to the people, this is actually available for you now. So after every program, the recording of this is made and we email it straight to your inbox. So as soon as this is done, I email it straight to your inbox and you get it tonight, or maybe as late as tomorrow morning. At least you get it. And every evening after the Mystic Vibration, remember the Mystic Vibration comes on every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday evening from 6 until 8 specifically, but sometimes we go over, like tonight looks like a go over for sure. And we definitely, the next day after tonight's program, tomorrow is Thursday, those who have already subscribed, they're going to get this program tomorrow in their inbox. So even if they're not listening, they're going to get the program specifically in the inbox. And that's for the month you subscribe. That's a 50 United States dollars currency a month, and you get every Mystic Vibration, man. And as you could see, we're not just here talking and this is just a talk show and what's on your mind and what you feel. We make sure we craft every program, to the highest standard, as we definitely look to deliver the best information. And I always like to use with the information, the inspiration, for the betterment of our people. So I give thanks also for those who see it as their duty to, support such a cause as well. Although you obviously supporting yourself. As I said, we'll be putting different series together. The fairy tale and folly days series coming very, very soon. Many things, man. Let me not even go no more into that. So let us get to the agenda at hand. And what's our key Swahili word of the day again?
Endesha.
Endesha, Honorable Princess Akishaman, and our key Swahili word of the day, Endesha, and that means pussycat. So,
Driver.
Driver. Oh, pardon me, the princess driver. Oh my God, just put it there. So give thanks again, to the Honorable Princess, Akishaman, and I mean, for giving us that key Swahili word of the day every evening, and it has been a strength, to all of us. So the reality of UFOs now, unidentified flying objects. Wow, I mean, we don't believe in these things because, listen, God created the world, and, we don't believe in aliens, and, okay, no spaceships, I've never seen a spaceship. Okay. So this is usually the response you may get when you bring this sort of topic out. Now, if you check some of these terms, God didn't create the world, aliens, spaceships and flying saucers. Now, you may be surprised that none of these things has anything to do, depending on the context we're speaking of, with a UFO. Okay, let us be real here. First of all, now this is going to be a mystic one tonight, so just bear with me, or tiger with me. I'm not a bear, tiger with me. What is a UFO? A UFO is not a flying saucer, A UFO, it has become synonymous with such, but a UFO is an unidentified flying object. An unidentified flying object. An object that is flying that you cannot identify. Hey, look, what? You see that thing flying? What? That object over there? Yeah. What is it? I don't know. That's a UFO. That's all. I mean, you have to lose your check it, no sleep over that. All right. Obviously, it's more than that, but I'm just making sure that's how you have to deliver the knowledge sometimes, man. Don't think I'm just playing with you. Sometimes we know things, but we never really take the time to look at what we know properly. That's all a UFO is. Something flying, an object that you don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's a UFO. Good. And obviously these terms, or the term itself, came from when they were on the radar and beep, beep, beep. Headquarters, do you pick up that object there? Yes. What is it? We're not too sure. It's an unidentified flying object. That's it. That's all. All right. Good. Now, what I would like to say is this. Those of us who are listening to this, if you are over the age of 80, if you are over the age of 70, 60, 50, 40, you're somewhere around 30, let me give you 20, and I'm sure those who are 15 as far as maybe 10. I am sure that at some time or the other, listen to me good, I am sure that at some time or the other, you have seen something in the heavens that was not as usual as what you usually see. It was unusual. Let me just give you one example. At least in the Caribbean, this is another thing. This is a very important point too. No disrespect to where you are. But in the Caribbean, where the sky is usually clear, although we have too much, or too many, whatever the grammar is, I mean, I ain't no English scholar, but whole ton of lights, street lights and all the other lights that distract you, and the car lights and your house light, that alone is playing with your eyes. So it deadens our ability to see the heavens properly, believe it or not. But yet still, in the midst of all of that, we still have a good view of the heavens. You know when we when we travel to the other countries there, you ain't gonna call no name. Sometimes you have to, when you see the sun, you rejoice. Say, wait, hey, look, the sun there. I mean, you'll be there for months and don't see no sun. You do not experience nothing like that in the Caribbean. I'm telling you for sure. I'm just speaking of where I know it. So, looking at the sky on any given night, my brothers and sisters, on any given night, you go outside. If I'm to go outside right now, and I look at the sky, no, within 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to see something going across the sky that definitely you know for sure it's not an aeroplane. Many ones would say it's a satellite. Now, what I've noticed for sure, in the modern times, they've increased. So, of course, you would say, yeah, man, those are satellites that are out there. Now, I honestly do not know how many satellites are out there. I remember once listening to a radio program. It's one of the international news radio program. And the scientist was making giving the figure. And his figure was that there was less than 300 satellites out there. No, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert. And to be honest, I never went to dig into it too much. But if he's correct, he's the expert. I mean, and I know what I heard him say. I said, wait. If there are less than 300 satellites out there, okay. I'm saying, all right, if he meant a specific type, listen, I'm telling you, even if there were 3,000 satellites out there, listen to me now, man. Even if there was 3,000 satellites, let's keep this point. Even if there were 3,000 satellites out there, I don't think you would have enough satellites that every time I go outside and look up, every 20 minutes I see something just passing overhead. Remember, I'm just looking at a pin, like the head of a pin, the pinhead of the heavens from where I am. From where I am, this little island here in the sea looking up, and this big blue marble, as it's called, that we're all on. And even if you had 3,000 satellites, I should not be able to see one every, 20 minutes. They have about 3,000, I'm sure, or more planes in the sky, aeroplane. But only those that are coming here I see. And it's not every 20 minutes. And I'm right by the airport. Let's follow all of this good, The point I'm making is, and I'm being very moderate here. I'm being extremely moderate. Why? Because those same things that I've seen going across the sky, sometimes they stop in mid-air. Sometimes they make an about turn. I'm telling you what I've seen. Sometimes they travel in 3s and 4s. I'm not making nothing up, and I am sure that there are many of you who are listening that have seen similar and even maybe more than what I've seen and even what I'm speaking about. And this is very important to the discussion here. Man, I've seen many things. I've seen many, many mystic things right out there in the heavens. I've seen these same crafts go behind cloud and they never come back out. In the midst of many people too. I have witnesses that would say, yeah, I remember the evening, man. Wow, that was something else. And they will talk and talk and talk. You know? So again, I know what I am saying is not unique. It is not queer. It is not off the chain. Because most people that I know that have taken some time to observe what's going on around them have seen things moving through the heavens. Moving through the heavens. That's not no star, no planet, no comet, no meteor, no meteorite. And it ain't no satellite, and it's not a plane. Yeah, that's for sure. Now, I know there are many that are even listening to me now that are saying, hey, listen, you talking about little lights flying and spinning around? I had an encounter one day. Now, you see, well, I can't, I mean, I have my own encounters, but that's nothing for me to share on the air. But them kind of encounters there, and the ship came down and some man came out and pull you in, and so, well, no, I don't have none of that in my record. But there's those, obviously, you can, I'm sure you could, you know someone that at least knows someone that would tell you, yeah, they were visited by somebody from some other place. I'm not giving that account. I'm sorry, I really don't. You know, as I'm saying, I'm trying to keep it as moderate and as realistic as possible. Okay. Now, what I want to do, and so we're clear there. An unidentified flying object is an object you just can't identify, that's for sure. And I think, again, in this modern time, that most of us have experienced something. We don't have to check. We don't have to check neither NASA or any of the Air Forces or the control tower at your airport. You ain't got to check none of them people. All you got to do is go outside and look up, and you will see things flying around that nobody can identify. This is what I'm saying. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take the time to listen to a bit of a documentary, Secret Access. This was taken from the History Channel. And the documentary is directly speaking about, you know, UFOs and, you know, the reality thereof. Now, of course, yourself, myself, and many others have seen many documentaries. There are many documentaries out there directly dealing with, you know, UFOs and you know, the reality thereof, or the lack of proof or evidence or whatever you want to call it. But I'm saying now that at this time,
air around us was electrically charged, and we could feel it on our clothes, our skin, and our hair. Nothing in my training prepared me for what I was witnessing.
Okay, pardon me for that. Yes. All right, that's just a touch of the documentary there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you, we're going to be highlighting a specific part of the documentary, the Phoenix Lights. Now, the Phoenix Lights specifically is over the city of Phoenix. There was the sighting of an unidentified flying object that I think came in a boomerang shape. But whatever the case is, this is credible. This is something that was in the major magazines and newspapers, and even the governor of the city has come out, and you will hear him speak about that event. Now, don't get me wrong, other sightings of strange things, not things you can't identify. The pilots, like the Japanese pilot, he identified the flying object that was going around him. I can't remember the brother's name, until he said it looked somewhat like an oblong kind of spherical shape with an attached ring around it. And then now, as I said, many have seen other craft that look like boomerang shape with lights underneath, you know, and these are credible people, You have pilots that have come out and given their account and they've lost their jobs. Credible people. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to take in the tail end of a ship sighting by some, I think, Army officers, and then we're going to go straight into the Phoenix Lights specifically and the sighting of the UFO over Phoenix. Follow me, let us go through this. Give thanks. This is Radio Anu, radioanu.com, the international flavor.
Sergeant Peniston observed the craft for nearly 45 minutes.
One of the most intriguing pieces of information were strange symbols that he saw on the side, which he said reminded him a bit of Egyptian hieroglyphs. And he sketched this in his police notebook.
Many years after the incident, Sergeant Peniston decides to step out of the shadows, speak publicly about his sighting.
Over 80 Air Force personnel, all trained observers, witnessed the takeoff. The team and witnesses were told to treat the investigation as top secret, and no further discussion would be allowed.
I think in looking back at the Rendlesham Forest incident, it was very clear to me that we did have solid evidence of a compelling UFO case, that an unidentified object or objects was operating over the UK.
The Rendlesham Forest incident is now considered one of the most conclusive UFO sightings in history, and includes several archetypal characteristics seen in the most credible UFO cases. Triangular and disc-shaped craft that move silently and accelerate instantly to unknown speeds.
Listen to that. I've seen
It
that.
stands as a benchmark against which all other UFO cases can be measured. And when you add in all the cases that involve high-level military people, government officials, pilots, cases that have been officially investigated, you have a body of evidence that simply can't be ignored.
But what happens when an entire city witnesses a UFO reported to be as large as 2 or 3 football fields?
Okay,
With
listen to
the
this.
shape of a boomerang.
A large black object coming right towards us.
Thought I was going to pass out. I was so enthralled in looking at this thing.
And that's a mile long.
In 1997, thousands in Phoenix, Arizona witnessed an enormous craft.
Do these lights belong to visitors from outer space?
UFO was being blasted all over the television, so people were going outside of their houses and looking up in the sky.
Now, new evidence is introduced in one of the most enduring UFO cases in history.
All hell broke loose, basically, and she had a complete lockdown.
Official explanations are dissected.
The Air Force stated that flares were dropped around 10 p.m., but witness reports came in over an hour before the flares were dropped. So using that excuse makes a mockery out of what thousands of people said they saw.
And a former governor reveals his startling admission.
I knew more about the lights over Phoenix than I let on.
Yes, listen
This
to this.
is the Phoenix Lights.
All right. Phoenix Lights, man. Let's get into the lights.
I'm Fife Samington, the former governor of Arizona, and in the spring of 1997, there was a very unusual event.
So this is Fife Samington III, and he's speaking of the unusual event. He's the former governor now of Phoenix. Go ahead, Fife. Fife.
Occurred while I was the governor. I guess some people refer to it as the lights over Phoenix.
It was Thursday night, March 13th, 1997, 8:30 p.m.
My daughter Monica came running in to say there was something coming over the end of Camelback Mountain.
Listen to this.
And so 4 of the kids got up, ran out, and I ran out with them.
And I looked to the north. My wife and I saw 3 bright white lights in triangle formation coming right towards us.
It had 5 big lights in front of it, and it was the shape of a boomerang.
It was a solid craft, silent, very low to the ground. And the thing that took me was the size. Profoundly enormous, profoundly massive. I mean, we don't even have shopping centers this big.
We stood and watched it come, and it floated directly over our house. And it was probably 5 to 6 minutes that we had full view of this.
My wife and I, we just stared at each other. And I looked her right in the eye and I says, we just saw our first UFO.
Do these lights belong to visitors from outer space? Hundreds of people across the valley think it's a distinct possibility.
What is described as a giant, brightly lit boomerang soars through the air.
No official explanation of those strange bright lights.
That night it was being blasted all over the radio, all over the television. So people were going outside of their houses and looking up in the sky. And it was being viewed by thousands of people across the valley.
Okay, so 13th of March, 1997, Phoenix, Arizona. All of what you heard there were news clippings explaining what the people were seeing, and you know, also it wasn't like today when everybody has a camera at hand, but in one form or the other. But you know, you still got a individual that took pictures and videos and other things on the nightly news. The governor says people were just coming out and looking, you know. But I don't believe it was no aliens. No, hold on. We don't even reach that far yet. What you believe is not what we're talking about. We're talking about what is and what was. We're talking history, not belief. And what we know is that there was a craft, a boomerang-shaped craft, the size of at least 3 football fields, just taking its time cruising over Phoenix in the eyes of many that nobody can doubt, with lights underneath of it. And it made the news. You know, one person said, and this is what I heard, no, the whole city witnessed this, and nobody from captain to crook, or captain to cook, could give an explanation. Let us go.
There were barrages of phone calls coming into the governor's office and to the Department of Public Safety. People wanted answers.
Answers.
So, of course, I was making my inquiries immediately to the head of the National Guard. And I had members of my staff calling Luke Air Force Base to find out if they were flying some exotic aircraft over the valley, and not really getting any answers. I mean, everybody was just sort of, oh my gosh, well, we don't know what it is.
Something strange happened in the skies over Arizona that still hasn't been fully explained.
It's something UFO enthusiasts are calling a major sighting. Pilots report seeing it in the air, yet military radar screens pick up nothing.
I would, you hear that? You hear that? I would admit it is a major sighting. Now hear that. Pilots. Man, just look, just shut down the whole thing. Pilots have made reports of seeing it in the air, and people seeing it from the ground, and the radar has picked up nothing. And the thing is as large as 3 football fields. Eh? Nothing on the radar? Unidentified flying object.
Whatever it was, it has more than a few Phoenicians watching the skies tonight.
Well, in the weeks following the incident, over 700 witnesses called in reports to local officials and to the National UFO Reporting Center, a private organization in Seattle, Washington. And these witnesses included pilots, police officers, and military professionals.
Although descriptions of the craft differ, several overriding characteristics prevail. It is a massive solid object, not merely lights, in the shape of a delta or triangle. And it makes no noise as it moves over the valley. Most importantly, it is viewed from multiple vantage points by witnesses across the county for a total of 106 minutes.
We literally were laying down on the grass looking up at it. It was a solid object.
Something that I'll never explain. No deal.
It was a major UFO event, seen by thousands of people across the state of Arizona. And they were expecting a serious response from the government.
Of course. What would you expect? I mean, come on.
Well, you can imagine the building hysteria that was going on in our community about what really happened and what we were going to do about it. I'm going to order a full, investigation of this through DPS. We're going to make all the necessary inquiries, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to find out. I was probing, trying to get answers, but everybody was sort of denying that they saw it in official channels, which really had me perplexed. And Councilwoman Barwood really took the lead. She called Senator John McCain, and the senator was the first person to get something out of the Air Force.
The Air Force tells Senator McCain that the lights are high-intensity flares, dropped by the National Guard between 9:30 and 10 p.m.
That's a very important point, between 9:30 and 10 p.m. And it was Senator John McCain, the late Senator, John McCain alive? Oh Lord. Anyway, John McCain, brother. That said, that they got to contact the Air Force to get something out of the Air Force. This is what the governor, the former governor now, was saying. All right, let's hear what. But they're saying that this is some flares that was dropped between 9 and 10 p.m.
But since the sightings began at 8:15 p.m., over an hour before the flares were dropped, and in a different part of the city than the UFO was seen.
So the UFO sighting was an hour before the flares were dropped, and in a different part of the city.
This fails to explain what many witnesses saw.
They were all shot right around 10 o'clock at night. They were all southwest of Phoenix. They weren't even over the city or even in the county. What my wife and I saw happened at 8:30.
Seems to me this big object came over at 8:30. The authorities decided they better do something to cover it up, so they had a flare show at 10.
Well, it was an intentional diversion, yes.
What's really confusing is that the lights that were shown on TV that night were actually the flares.
Do these lights belong?
Because the news footage was taken at 10 p.m. when the flares were dropped.
Strange dots of light that were the top of.
But that doesn't explain what all the witnesses saw. The flares were dropped over 2 hours after the sightings began. These were two separate events.
Casting further doubt on the Air Force's explanation is this never-before-heard recording of a call made by an airman at Luke Air Force Base to the National UFO Reporting Center early in the morning on March 14th.
Apparently, we got a call from Prescott Valley Airport, a small airport north of us, reporting an object that had a near miss with a small Cessna. The call came up approximately 8:32 that they encountered something over Phoenix, Arizona, over the area of 7th Avenue and Indian School Road. They don't know what it was.
According to the airman, Luke Air Force Base launched two F-15s to investigate the incident. Shortly after 8:30 p.m., he spoke with one of the F-15 pilots after their return, describing him as visibly shaken.
The command pilot of this particular flight, I've never seen this man scared. And he was scared to death. I'm not sure what it was. His statement was that they followed this aircraft. It went on a straight line course heading towards Sky Harbor Airport, which is one of our main airports here, at approximately 18,000 feet, descending to 10,005. He saw 5 distinct lights in a triangular pattern. First 3 lights were in a tight triangular formation, and then the other light was at about 400 yards, also on the east side of the triangle. It scared the hell out of them, and after they landed, the base was, we had a complete lockdown. All hell broke loose, basically, and the facility was closed.
Despite the shocking testimony, the Air Force categorically denies the encounter. But like the Rendlesham case before it, official attempts to dismiss the sightings are unsuccessful.
It was the story that wouldn't go away, and the governor knew he would have to address it.
Governor Fife Symington is determined to find out what those lights are all about.
Soon the Phoenix lights would reach national prominence as Governor Symington reveals his astonishing news.
I knew more about the lights over Phoenix than I let on.
To escort the accused into the room so that we may all look upon the guilty party.
It's time to correct the record once and for all.
us to just take in this part
But
and
when
then
you
we
serve
get
in
into the
public
real.
office, you have to be very careful dealing with sensitive, incendiary subjects like UFO sightings. So I'm going to order the fact of the matter is, if you're a public official and you start talking about UFOs, you really get attacked. It's unbelievable.
To start tonight with those strange dots of light.
The left side.
In 1997, thousands witnessed a UFO over Phoenix. Reports described a delta-shaped craft, several football fields in length. Like the craft at Rendlesham, it was viewed from multiple vantage points by witnesses across the county for a total of 106 minutes.
Thousands of people saw it, and it was quite build-up of public interest, almost close to hysteria.
UFO enthusiasts all over the country.
3 months after the sighting, USA Today features the Phoenix Lights on its front page, forcing Governor Symington into the spotlight.
In early June, there was major publicity, and all of a sudden we found ourselves sort of besieged. So I organized this press conference to try to get people to kind of climb off the emotional mountain a bit.
On June 19th, Symington holds a news conference to announce the mystery has been solved.
And now I'll ask Officer Stein and his colleagues to escort the accused into the room so that we may all look upon the guilty party. Don't get him too close to me, please.
Now this is 1997, when he was the governor. And what they did, they brought in somebody in an alien suit. You know, he was like making a mock of it. But as he said, you know, as he's admitting now, he's saying, but man, he knew more of this than, you know, he was even, you know, he wasn't getting no answers. Nobody was paying attention to him. So he just kind of faked it off. Yeah, and I'm sure there was some pressure to fake it off too. Yeah, even though they got a word from the Air Force base given to John McCain, and it doesn't align with the reality. All right.
And this just goes to show that you guys are entirely too serious.
It really was a very funny spoof, but unfortunately it was taken the wrong way.
Wrong way.
It was an insult.
It was
and
an
I'm
insult.
greatly offended, as are many, many witnesses. Because a lot of people could have came forward.
Yeah, man.
But instead, they became reclusive. They refused to talk about it because of this, because of the ridicule.
I was angry over it because I know what I saw and I did not like that kind of attitude. When this thing was over my house for 5 minutes, someone should care. Someone should care.
That press conference, it really did upset a lot of people, and I regret that. But what really bothered me was that I knew more about the lights over Phoenix than I let on.
See, that's what bothers him.
And I should have talked more openly about my own experience sooner. On March 13th, I was having dinner with my family. We had the TV on, and I was well aware of the news about the UFO. So I said, I'm going to jump in my car, and I'm going to go down Lincoln Drive past Squaw Peak and see if I can see what's going on. When I got here, there were people milling around, just enjoying the park. And I was here for probably 5 or 10 minutes, and somebody said, look at that, and out to the northwest, this great big massive craft, probably around 3,000 or 4,000 feet, took out a whole chunk of the sky, and you could see other aircraft in the distance, but airplanes looked like little toothpicks compared to the size of this craft. And it came right at us, made not a sound, and just moved almost sort of gently and smoothly, not that fast. It just glided over Squaw Peak. And we had a magnificent view of it silhouetted.
Governor Symington observes the object for nearly a minute before it speeds away across the valley.
It just all of a sudden disappeared. You know, I've served in the U.S. Air Force, and I've been flying all my adult life. And I've never seen anything like that before.
Okay, let me leave it at that. Now, yeah, let's just leave it at that for the moment. I would, if I have to return to it, I'll return to it, but somehow I don't think I would have to return to it. One of the main things he said there is that he has been in the Air Force You know, let us get this good. He has been in the Air Force, and you know him being in the Air Force, he know that he saw the craft do something in front of him that he never saw anything like that in the Air Force. This is the governor speaking now. Let us just get this straight. This might sound simple, but I want to dwell on the point. This is the same governor. Yes, he's coming clean now, but this is the same governor that brought a man on stage in an alien suit and then made mockery of the whole situation and told the people, man, you're just taking this a little too seriously, man. You're going too far with this. You know, when are you going to, it's not that serious. Breathe it off. And he knew at the time, not afterwards, he knew at the time that something was wrong. He had already seen the craft with his eyes. This is what he just said. He was at home having dinner. You understand what I'm saying? He was at home having dinner. The governor of Phoenix, 1997, on the 10th of March, somewhere thereabouts, was at home having dinner. And while he was watching the news was speaking about the strange lights over Phoenix that everybody else saw. And he just said it, he just said so. He got up out of his house and went to investigate for himself. And he came by some field or park where people were watching it. And he came out of his car and he saw it too. Listen to what the governor said just as a man. He just said that the craft disappeared, like moved on a dime. Or stop on it. Well, they have the ability to stop on a dime, not move on a dime, but just moved it like, gone. And the comment he made, he just made it. That he was in the Air Force or the Army, whatever it was, and we can run it again, And he never, ever saw anything like that. Now, as I said, I personally have seen them so-called satellites moving through the sky and then just turn on a dime. Well, I keep saying that dime stuff, but just turn right angle and disappear. I've seen that me personally with my eyes. This is a credible report that is being given here. And what I'm saying, after he saw this, after seeing this, and I'm sure trying to contact people in, up above him in the rankings, he was being rejected, as he was saying here. They were ostracizing him and even laughing at him to some degree. So I'm just saying that after knowing all of that, he still came to the people with one of his fellow friends in a rubber suit looking like a big head alien. And that is why the ladies were upset and said they were insulted. And the other guy, he was upset and said he was insulted. And obviously, I'm sure many other people were disgusted at what he did. And although he is quote-unquote coming out now, I don't think he's coming all the way out. Because after seeing what he saw and still pulling a trick like that, man, what are you talking about? Even now, he may be wondering if his life, is he still alive too? He may be wondering if his life is, on the line for coming and doing them documentary and talking them things. And I'm sure at the time it was hotter than hot. He couldn't say he saw anything. He wouldn't be alive to say what he really saw. Yeah, I'm sure, man. Come on, you know how the world run, man. They kill John F. Kennedy, they don't kill him. Who is he? This is the first I hear about him. You understand? Yeah, that's the reality of what it is. So I'm saying now, so he didn't just decided to, he's still lying. Straight up, he's still lying, talking about he just decided to sweep it off. He didn't decide to not sweep it off. They would have swept him off if he didn't put it to an end or tried to put it to an end. But it didn't go to sleep. They couldn't blame him for that. So maybe that's why he's still around, but it did not go to sleep. It still remained in the public eye. Now, the reason why I outlined that situation is because that's the Phoenix Lights. That's the 10th of March. That's 1997. That is not me or you or somebody else saying they saw something or a group of us say a night I was at a party. This is not even when you go on the internet and you see these little videos and this is a real sighting of a UFO now. No, this is a must-see real sighting of a UFO. Do you want to see a real UFO? You have a heap of videos there. You want to know what is real and what is not real and all kind of things. Some of them you could even see the string. I mean, you know, the point is the light over Phoenix is an obvious, credible event, as repeated in that documentary, and I will say it again now. That's a major UFO sighting. All right, good. So we gather that, and I wanted to drop that so that we cannot act as if strange things beyond the comprehension of the vast majority of us is not happening. We can't go beyond, we can't pretend we don't know that. This is what I'm saying. All right, fair enough. Good. Now, let us go into another realms now. So they exist. Nobody can talk nothing. They have crafts out there floating over the place for 106 minutes. They have boomerang shaped ones. They have triangular shaped ones. They have all kind of shaped ones. And they're out there. And the majority of people on the earth cannot explain to you what they are and where they come from. But they exist. You may not see them every night. But then as I said, just going outside here and looking up in the sky, for a good 2 hours, you'll see maybe at least 3 or 4 strange things just going across the sky. You say, that's a plane. Yeah, you look like a plane. No, you're not a plane, man. There's no light flashing. Boy, that's a satellite, man. Yeah, that's the excuse now. It's a satellite. All right? But the lights over Phoenix was no satellite. It was a gigantic craft that disappeared on a... Yeah. So what's that? Where did it come from? Listen, man, this ain't no dream, you know. You're not dreaming. This is real. Where did that come from? Where are the answers for that? Huh? So we're gonna go to sleep, because we don't rest, we sleep. We're gonna go to sleep tonight now. Sleep. We're really asleep for true. We're gonna go to sleep tonight, not considering what was that. And that's not the only account. It has happened many times. Many pilots have their own account. Even this documentary alone, that's how much, about 10 minutes worth I dropped there for you. But they have at least 5 different accounts on this one documentary right here, this UFO documentary, Secret Access History Channel. Check it for yourself if you want on the internet, man. And all of them are credible, but I just decided to use the Phoenix Lights. So strange things are happening. Nobody can deny that. No human being. Not unless they can explain what it is. All right. Good. Now, one thing I would say is that it is obvious that those that you would say control the world right now, it's their world too, not the earth as such, but the big players, those that you see on stage and those that's behind stage that you never see. But you know what I'm talking about. So on stage, you have the European nations and the great eagle and the bear and the United States on a heap of scene. But yet still off stage, you still got something else going on that you're not even aware of. That's what I'm saying. So it's a mystic thing. So these people on screen, off screen, whatever it is, they have a specific power in their hand. Now they'll tell you that they went to the moon in 1960, whenever it was. And we can debunk that for sure, and I'm sure many of my listeners, know for sure that nothing went so. So a lot of the powers that they pretend to have, they don't really have. Yeah, talk about a bully. But the reality is, they can do things that, is beyond the imagination of some. I'm telling you. And it's not really hard to believe that the high-ranking governments and armies of the world could create a craft. Listen to me good. Listen to me good, my people. It is not hard to believe that the high-ranking, those with the technological advancement in their hands, it is not hard to believe that they can make a craft that we have never seen, that can do things that we have never seen as well. And to be honest, I'm sure that they have it. Because a lot of what they expose every time something new comes out, it doesn't mean that they just made it. It just means that they're just bringing it out. So there's something that is still in behind the fences that will come out tomorrow, and that will come out next week. Some new craft that can fly that can fly straight up and fly straight down and can stop in mid-air. I'm sure they're working on it, if they don't already have it. You get what I'm saying? So it's not hard to believe that even the very same governments of the world have specific vehicles and crafts and can do specific things. All these laptops and cellular phones and tablets, these killers are watching all of us. Even when you lock it off, they're still watching you. Man, what are you talking about? They have the ability. They're the ones that made it. And ain't nothing hard to believe. You think they're going to make it and don't make it to have the ability to watch you? That's what it's made for, even when you lock it off. Internet or no internet. Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth. They don't need none of that. They have their own Bluetooth and Wi-Fi set up to check you out. Yeah, take out the battery, do anything you want. They have the ability. How you think the clock's still working? So if the clock can still work when you lock off the stuff, you don't think, come on, man. These killers have the ability to spy on you. These stuff that we have in our pocket and all of that, phone and this phone and that phone, iPhone. Imagine that we're so dumb that we can't even pick up that. The iPhone watching, the eyes on you, watching you, the phone watching you, and the smartphone. So who, the phone smart and you dumb, watching you and checking you. So they have the ability to do things. To me, I mean, really, it's amazing. You could just dial 7 digits, or 9 digits or whatever, and in 2 seconds, you can talk to someone in Germany. And you may be, in Florida, just hey, wow, what took you so long? Wow, in a moment, like in the twinkling of an eye, that can just happen. So I'm just saying, yes, I know we had greater powers than that, but I'm not talking about what we had. I'm talking about what's going on now. I'm saying that the enemy has the ability to create crafts, Although a lot of their powers is just smoke and mirrors, but still, they do have the ability to do things. Before they showed us the drone, if I was to tell you about the drone, you'd say, oh, come on, nobody can do that. But now drones are dropping bombs, and when you shoot down a drone, you just shoot the drone down, nobody killed. That's what's going on. That is what's going on. That existed for a while before they showed us that. So all I'm saying, because this is a realistic program, we're not here to sound pretty. This is a realistic program. The point is the enemy has the ability and is still working on other things to exercise their power across the planet. All right, that's what their movies are all about. Cars flying and all kind of things. Good. Now, that's just one way of looking at it. But I do dare say, just like I am sure that that moon trip in 60 whatever is false, I'm positive. Positive. I am positive that all the power that they do have, for example, the craft that we saw over Phoenix, I don't think that our enemy has the ability to create that or anything like that at this time, to move at such a speed one time and just disappear in front of your eyes. In fact, I'm going to take the word of the governor as an army man. He knows that they do not have the ability to create nothing like that. No, I'm trying to, because I have young people listening to me, I like to be clear when I speak. So let us be clear and look at this from all the rational angles. Because hear this now. Well, you got to be people from outer space before we go too far. Before we go too far. In fact, let us go there first. Let us go there first. Outer space. Good. Now, I'm a rational thinking human being. Are you? You want it? Yeah. I'm a rational thinking human being. Are you a rational thinking human being? Yeah. Okay, that's better. You're a rational thinking human being? Yeah. You say yeah too. Are you a rational thinking human being?
Yes, I'm a rational thinking.
Oh, that's it, rational thinking. So you can think rationally. Oh, rational thinking, right? So let us think. You exactly. We live on a planet. Well, for the moment, on an island on a planet. Listen to me good. Here, on the wall. We live on a planet. And the planet is in a solar system. Now, our solar system is in a galaxy. And there are, according to what we are to believe, countless of these. Countless of solar systems. Now, when you say countless doesn't mean 5 billion. 5 billion you can count. Countless means, boy, too much to count. We can't even guesstimate the amount of, listen to me good, the amount of solar systems that are in this galaxy that we call the Milky Way galaxy. And then at the same time, there are countless of galaxies in the universe. That means you cannot count the amount of galaxies that are in the universe. And each of these galaxies that we can't even begin to count, we can't even tell you where they are. These galaxies have countless of solar systems themselves within them. All right. Now, why is it that planet Earth is an oasis? That means that it is made perfectly for life. Some people say life on Mars, life on this, life on that. Well, life is everywhere, for sure. But we mean life as we know what we want to call life, and people and human beings and animals and plants and trees, etc. That's the kind of life I'm discussing for the moment. But obviously there must be life on Mars and life on Saturn. Saturn itself is alive. What are you talking about? These are living planets. What's wrong with you? You don't see a whole storm, 3 storms on Jupiter? That's life. That's life. As my young princess was telling me today, in conventional science, they teach that that water is non-living thing. I mean, come on, water is alive. You see, this is how it is with the curriculum that they give us in a curriculum. Yeah, water is a living thing. Ask the doctor, the Japanese doctor that spoke to the water and told you, how the water changes its crystal shape when you preach love to it and all of these different things. So the water is alive. So there's life in all the earth and all the universe. Earth universe is alive. But what I'm saying now, planet Earth is perfect. A perfect habitation then. A habitat for human beings and fish and other life form, as we learn in science. All right. Now, it's not just the perfect place to live, We evolved here. I'm not getting into evolution and creation, because we definitely were created, but it's obvious that things do evolve. And the earth that you see today went through stages. But I'm just showing you, listen to me good, this is my main point. It has a lot to do with the distance of the earth in relation to the sun. And also the size of the earth, the size of the sun. All of these things you have to take into consideration. And because of that perfection, that is why there is life as we know it on planet Earth. So, in other words, if the Earth was just a bit closer to the sun, it would work. If the Earth was just a little bit away from the sun, it wouldn't work neither. It'll be too hot or be too cold. You get what I'm saying? The gases, everything would change. It wouldn't be maybe for another type of life, but not for us as such in the way that the earth is situated today. Please understand, my point is very important. This is a teaching session. So I'm saying even on the planet Earth, that's the oasis in the solar system. There are places that you can't go and talk about, boy, I'm going to live here and build my house here. Wait, impossible. No matter where you're setting up, you can't live there. It's too frigid. I'm talking of too cold. Certain parts of the pole. That's no place for you to go and stay. All right. Good. Rational thinking. If we have countless of solar systems, and before I even go to that, according to science today, we watch, and listen to these astronomical lectures all the time. And from what we're supposed to believe from modern day science, they have discovered several Goldilocks planets. Several of them, several. And I know you, my children in front of me, you know exactly what the Goldilocks planet is. But for those who may not know, like the story of Goldilocks and the 20 bears. Pardon me, 3 bears, okay, right, 3 bears. The one porridge was too hot, one porridge was too cold, and one planet was just perfect. Yes, for life, for people to live on. And they have discovered several, according to them, Goldilocks planets out there. That people, human beings and animals and all of these things could exist on, at least if not perfectly, but very close to. Now I'm saying, whether they discovered that or not, it only makes sense to me. Listen good, it only makes sense. You don't have to believe. People want to say, boy, you believe they have life out there. Listen, it only makes sense to me that if you have countless of solar systems in this one galaxy. 'Cause all it needs is a sun, you know. A solar system has a sun at the center of it. All you need is a sun and a planet the right distance away from the sun. That's all. And of course, the planet the right size and the sun and everything in order. Once you get that, you have a planet that is able to house life as we know it. That's it, straight up. I am saying, with the right mixture of gases, what we have in our atmosphere, oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, whatever it is we need, and the way water is built up, and whatever it is we need, I'm telling you that it is possible. Whether it exists or not, all you need is the sun and another Earth, and there you go. Put Venus in our orbit and see what happens. After a couple billion years, it may be a planet Earth. Yeah. If the sun is still around, because the sun is scheduled to explode. Yeah. So I'm saying now, with a common sense, rational thinking mind, to me, it is obvious that there are other solar systems out there that have planets in their solar system, obviously, or going around their sun, that has the capability of housing life as we know it. Some of them may be extremely harsh, and some may be close to our atmosphere, but not exactly the same. But I'm sure with all them countless of solar systems in this one galaxy, and hear this now, and countless of galaxies in the universe, you mean to tell me only a religious, dogmatic mind, somebody that say, well, you know, the Bible says that I was there before the worlds were formed. You hear that? Before he created the worlds. I see that in the Bible. I see that with my eyes. Before the worlds. Plural. I see that. You don't see that? Okay. So even you can at least work with this. There are other places out there, somewhere, even if it's one. Even if it's one. And obviously I'm being moderate. There got to be. It don't make no sense. There got to be at least one other place where life can exist. This sun is supposed to explode in the next couple billion years. Where you gonna go? Oh, me get dead. Hear them kind of dead. You're right. Anyway. Where you gonna go? For those who understand where I am. Where you gonna go? All right. By that time, next couple billion years, you should be in a position to figure it out. All right. So, as you know, your brother may take a time to make a point, but I like my point to be clear. And my point is, it is obvious, possible, and very probable that there is life out there. Probable, that's the right term. Probable, yes, and possible that there is life out there. Yeah. In other words, to me, it only makes sense. All right. Good. Now, that doesn't mean you got to lower yourself to feel that because life is out there, it got to be more intelligent than you. Listen to me good. Because some aliens came and built the pyramid. What are you talking about? Which aliens? Huh? We are the ones here with the intelligence that built the pyramids, brother. Why do you want to believe that because something comes from somewhere else, them Goldilocks planets that they've discovered, they may be just evolving planets. They may be just coming into themselves. And yes, I could understand the nucleus of creation, the Almighty, the Most High, designing a home all of his own. Because I know some of us, we believe that that's the planet Earth, and there's nowhere else in the universe like the planet Earth. That just sounds like some tourism brochure. That's what they say. There's nowhere like Antigua, the best kept secret in the earth, and all of them kind of thing. And some other places say God live in Barbados and all kind of things, because we love where we're from. But I'm still telling you, I'm of the opinion, you could call it that there is life form somewhere else. I mean, come on, man. If you got countless of suns and planets and and not solar systems alone, galaxies, come on. Now, I'm also saying that right here on this planet now, right here where we are, we also have highly intelligent beings. Listen good. This is why I'm trying to show you, do not dampen yourself, because we don't know what's going on outside there, and some of us still wondering what shape the earth is and all them kind of things. We just tend to believe that anybody coming from afar, from some other solar system or constellation or whatever, is more intelligent than us. Okay. All right. Yes, okay, all right. Just assume there's more intelligent than us, as they call it, beings out there. Don't you think we are more intelligent than somebody else? I mean, we're the dumbest of the pack. We're the dunce of the class. That anything that drops out the sky is smarter than us. They play that in the movie a lot, anything that come from outer space. That's where you got that from, man. Anything that come from outer space, you gotta bow to it and take me to your leader. Like if them is the leader, wherever they coming from. Them is, I'm sure, some kind of ex-con just run out of jail, coming down here talking about take me to leader, eh? Give me a break. My point is,
I wanted to tell you this. Aliens drive UFOs.
I hear you. I'm telling you.
Oh, take me serious.
I'm taking you extremely serious, my lord. What else would an alien drive? Yes. So my point is, and it's obvious, even the word alien, you can play with them things, alien and angel, angel and the angle of lights. Because that's what an angel is, the angle of lights. Okay, well, listen to me good. This is what I'm saying. Right here on this plane where we are, planet Earth, and the furthest I'm going is her moon. Right where we are, we are living amongst different dimensions. This ain't got nothing to do with Mars, ain't got nothing to do with Jupiter, it ain't got nothing to do with no Goldilocks planet, or the Andromeda galaxy, and the Orion's galaxy, and the Sirius constellation, and the people from the Dogon and the Numu. We're not talking about none of them things at the moment. Nothing beyond Earth. But right here on Earth, listen to me good, eh? Right here on Earth, we are living in multiple dimensions. Right here. Right here. Ain't no go nowhere. Right here. Parallel worlds exist. We have proven this on one of our documentaries on our YouTube channel entitled Do Parallel Worlds Exist? I think that's what it's entitled. But that was a radio program that we did when we had the Mystic Vibration on ZDK. Not ZDK, Sun FM. And parallel worlds, the reality of the parallel world is clear. Because antimatter exists in parallel worlds. And antimatter do exist. Antimatter and matter, the danger of colliding both antimatter and matter. It is dangerous. But scientists have taken the chance of bringing in antimatter to perform specific scans. I think it's the PET scan or the CAT scan. They utilize antimatter. So the fact that antimatter has been discovered and used up to today, and yet still we're taught that antimatter only really exists in a parallel world. What kind of thing is that? A parallel world. When you understand properly how electrons disappear, do you know electrons disappear and appear? So when you check even an atom in yourself, and you could say this atom is stable within, it's consistent then, meaning that it has a certain amount of electrons. That's not necessarily so. Electrons disappear. Where did that electron go? And then appear. That's like pizza, you are disappearing and appearing, Where did that electron go? It's like the antimatter. So even you go into different dimensions and not even aware of it. You see, like you're sitting down there and you're dreaming, as we call it. That's when people go into like a glare, like they're watching something but they're not watching it. We like to say, hey man, you're sleeping, man, wake up. But your eyes wide open. That's dimensional traveling you're doing there. When you so-called sleep, you actually astral project. People say, I can astral project. Man, dogs can astral project, brother. Anybody that sleep astral project is but there's obviously there's a level of there's a science behind understanding it properly and getting yourself aligned. That's why even as Bobo Shanti, to all those Congress members listening, man, that's why we sleep a specific way. Not sleep, 'cause I don't sleep. That's why we rest a specific way. Sleep is the brother of death, eh? When you're not snoring and sun coming up and you're still there under the sheet, them things is what you call sleeping. When you're full your belly and then you're not off on the couch watching football and you're breaking your neck and all the chips and popcorn show and you, that's sleeping. That's what you call sleeping. And you're in your bed and man knocking down your door. Hey, you're not in there, man, nobody home. Bam, 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 bam. That is sleeping, you know. But when you rest now, I mean, you say your prayers properly, you kneel and pray, and you go and you lay down with your head to, I'm going to give out a little secret here, with your head to the north or to the east. That's how Bobo Shanti rests, with their head to the north and to the east, Yeah, to the north or to the, I don't care where I go. It could be in a hotel room, no matter how they have the bed turned. I sleep with my head to the north or to the east, as Bobo Shanti, as King Emmanuel teaches this. And a lot of the way man sleep and his belly sleep and curl up sleep, they're not really saying you really rest on your back as much as possible, and it's an ancient science. When you rest like that, you rest different. You go into a different realm. You make sure you rest with your stomach empty and all of them different things, and maybe under some hallucinogen, some ayahuasca brew, tree of life. Then you're talking about astral projecting, and you do it nightly. But I'm just saying all of this, especially the whole aspect of the parallel worlds, and that all of us as human beings actually go between these worlds and not even aware of it while you are awake. Your electrons are you, even though it's a microscopic part of you, extremely microscopic, subatomic level, subatomic part of you, although it's still you. Every cell is you. So if a cell disappears and appears, it's you. But the cell is made up of atoms, and the atoms of electrons, and electrons are seen disappearing and coming back. Oh man, that's my kind of stuff. What I'm trying to show us is that we are high beings. Yes, we as black people are fallen people. People in general ain't nowhere close to what we really are. I don't care what they're inventing and how close they get to the moon or not. We still way below the man that was created for this planet. You see, the being that was created for this planet, you can't be telling me about nobody from the outer space. Trust me. Anybody from outer space coming here, they're coming here to learn from us. What are you talking about? It's Haile Selassie sit on the throne, man. Is it Manuel Charles Edwards I talking about? Marcus Garvey, Blood of Winning. Anybody, I don't care if they come from, you know, play around with me now. Look, I know some of you upsetting us saying, no, brother, we came from the Sirius constellation, man. Yeah, we came from there and come here. We're the boss. What are you talking about? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the point is, though, many of you, outside of the shape of the earth, I know the earth ain't flat, but I know for sure there is an inner earth. There is an inner earth. You know, really. We have different dimensions right on the earth, right here. Oh my point is, they are higher beings right amongst us. Some of them appear quite regular. But I'm just telling you that there are higher beings amongst us that have the ability to do anything that you think Gazoo or any green-headed, big-headed alien from outer space gonna come here and do. I don't care how much crop circle they portray themselves in. So even the crop circle, so who you believe do the crop circle? Somebody from outer space? The crop circle, that's one of the greatest mysteries that exists today, the crop circle. Who can really explain the crop circle? Eh? You know we gotta touch it one day. But what I'm saying is, you're trying to tell me you believe that is some alien? Most of us, not us, most of you believe is that aliens do the crop circle. So why nobody here can do the crop circle? Whoa, who here have that ability? So you believe the US Army have all the power in the world when they can't even explain the light over Phoenix? I'm telling you, there are higher intelligence on this planet. Ask Dr. Delbert Blair. I think he passed on. Trust me. You know Dr. Blair? You can still ask Dr. Delbert Blair. Yeah. We have no faith, Rasta. I just tell you, ask the man who you tell him boy dead. Ask the man. Yeah, I'm sure he'll quicker answer you than some of the freaks that some of us pray to. Yeah. And he would tell you that we have higher intelligent beings that are higher than the state that we are in now, right here on this planet. And they have the ability of creating crafts that we have seen over Phoenix. They have the ability of creating crafts that the Japanese pilot saw over Indonesia or wherever he was. They have the ability of creating crafts that I have seen with my own eye take a 90-degree turn in the sky, like a perfect square angle there specifically. Turn some of them 180. I've seen them traveling in groups in the middle of the night, doing many different things, and even some of them close up. So I'm just trying to show you that we have the ability. We, those who you know, your neighbor and the person you work with and the man that drives you to work in the morning, they may not have the ability to perform such acts today. Huh? But there are people, even on this planet, as Marcus Garvey says, there are places in Africa that you cannot live at all. There are places in Africa that people has never even been to. There are places on this planet that nobody has ever seen, right here in this little 108 square miles of Antigua, that if you look on a map, you can't even see it. They have places here that nobody even touches yet. Caves undiscovered, right here on this little stone in the water, much less this grand earth. All of these mysterious places where they say you can go in cave and come out into this other world with another sun, Shangri-La. The underground city, the so-called fabled land. I'm telling you, there are many places on this planet that have not been quote-unquote discovered, and give thanks to the heavens for that. So I'm saying again, we have higher intelligent beings amongst us. I am a proponent for that belief or theology or philosophy. Yeah, and I would agree. I'm sure that life does exist beyond here, eh? It only makes sense. But I'm not looking beyond there for this higher level of intelligent actions and behavior that we see taking place around us, especially above us. And I'm not going to give the credit to the governments of the world. This is how I evaluate this. This ain't no spooky thing, eh? So now, this is why. It's deep, you know, you're talking about Orion. Now, Pizza Hut, one of the chief fast foods on the planet, Pizza Hut, the symbol of Pizza Hut is a flying saucer. Many people never take note of that. The symbol of Pizza Hut is a flying saucer. Now, the thing with Pizza Hut now, and I'm just telling you the reality of what it is, eh? The thing with Pizza Hut now, Pizza Hut sells pizzas, obviously. And the pizza, the pizza is a circle. It's called a pizza pie. Have you ever heard the term? The pizza pie. Now, the pizza pie, specifically, is a circle. And there's a science, you know. And the circle, you cut it into triangular shaped pieces. Now the pyramid is aligned with the Orion's belt. And now you know the pyramid is filled with that mathematical expression known as pi. This is deep, you know. The pyramid is filled with pi, 3.141, and the pyramid is aligned with Orion's belt. Now, so Orion belt represents pi too. There's a phrase that they use, pie in the sky. You ever hear about, oh, that's pie in the sky? What is the pie in the sky? Not the pie you eat, cherry pie, apple pie, you know. P-I-E pie, no, P-I pie. The pie in the sky is the Orion's belt constellation that aligned with the pyramid that is filled with pi. Even the term pizza starts with P-I, pie, and it's a circle, but yet still it cuts into the triangle. So the pyramid is a circle too. That's why it's pi, you know. The pyramid is a triangle too. That's why it's pi. And that's why, for those who know the science of the pyramid, you can get the triangle perfectly inside of the pyramid, and you also get the square and the circle. That's why a wrestling ring and a boxing ring is referred to as the squared circle. So this is very important, as I say, commenting directly on the whole aspect of the Pizza Hut using the symbol of the UFO, because there's a deep science within the pizza and the pie. That's why the Italians, when they make the pizza, they have to throw it up and it spins in the air. It spins in the circle. They don't just do it to get the dough ready. It's a Masonic ritual that they're doing. Anybody you see make pizza, a real pizza maker, we make so-called pizza. We call it royal circumference. We ain't throwing no dough up in here. But if you go around them people that really make the pizza, you see them throw it up in the air in a specific, pretty way. And it spins around as it goes up and come down and spin around. Circle dough. That's Freemasonic rituals taking place. That's the pie in the sky. And cakes to the Queen of Heaven. And a lot of them different things, you know. So, as I said, the depths of it. What is the reality of UFOs? What is the reality? All right. Now, as we enter Give thanks again for your presence. Shock of the hour. Mystic vibration.
Elijah Muhammad told us that Farad Muhammad came, as it is written of him, without observation, as a thief in the night, and that he was in fact the long-awaited Son of Man that would come from the east to the west to seek and to save that which was lost. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the black man and black woman of America were and are the lost member of the aboriginal nation of our planet from the tribe of Shabazz. This man, Master Farad Muhammad, pointed out to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad a dreadful looking plane in the sky, a half a mile by a human-built planet on which were 1,500 little planes that were up there in fulfillment of Ezekiel's vision that you find in the book of Ezekiel, the first chapter, from the 1st to the 28th verses. When you go home, you read now. This is a scholarly teaching today. You must read, you must study.
And we give thanks to Minister Farrakhan for that word, you know. So, according to his words, I'm sure many of you have heard him speak about that, the wheel. As he just explained, about 150 smaller bombers on the wheel. But what I would like to highlight is when he said it's a man-made plane. And I think he, like myself, looks at it, well, obviously, you know, I mean, no disrespect to one's theology. You know how I think about, you know, I mean, who it is that came to wake up the black man in America. You know, I don't pull no punches when it comes to Marcus Messiah Garvey, but not getting into nobody's religious outlook. You know, I'm just saying that I definitely see as how he's explaining it. Because I know for sure, although we didn't go into all of that here, that that's Minister Farrakhan, doesn't believe that that wheel came from space. But they're intelligent beings right here on the planet again, that has the ability to perform what is beyond the ability of those who rule over us. So I'm just saying that so we can take a critical and rational look at the realities around us, because there will be another Phoenix light. I mean, it's happening all the time, but something will blow up one day when the world will just have to pay attention and say, what was that? And no one will have an answer. I'm sure if the good Minister Farrakhan, you know, I'm sure if he's still speaking in that time, he will definitely say, well, the wheel again. Yeah, so I'm just putting that on the table. I'm sure you will comment. I give thanks for your presence. I hope whatever it is I imparted could have been of some help to you. You know, I'm not here to say I know it all and right and wrong, you know. But I believe in sensible, rational thinking. And I think how we laid it out tonight is rational thinking, man. You can't go against nothing that we were saying. The reality is there are things that happen. There are things that people have seen and credible sightings of UFO, things flying that nobody can understand what they are. Facts. And I highlighted now that outside of these events, to try to pin a finger on it, yes, I would agree that those who run the world have the ability to create crafts and other things that can do magnificent things. But I already made it clear that I'm not of the opinion that some of the things that we've seen, like even the Phoenix light, I really am with the governor there. I don't think that at least the U.S. Army has that ability in its hand, you know. And then I also took time to draw for the reality that it's not hard, it's very possible and probable that life does exist somewhere else. Just the fact that solar system, galaxies, and Goldilocks, it's not hard to believe that at least one other place, something, at least a flower is growing somewhere. At least one other place, there must be a pool with a flower in it. Come on, or some kind of something, something walking or crawling. No, wait, thought. But then, of course, I concluded it by showing you that I'm of the strong opinion that they have higher intelligent beings right here on this planet, intelligent levels of us, you know, not no lizard people, intelligent levels of me and you, the gods, the so-called angels, yeah, that have the ability to create, as the minister is saying, on the wheel you have new life, you have new species. Sounds like a Noah's Ark, animals, and vegetation, and so many different things. So of course, you know, this has been an extended one. This is not necessarily a series. I just did this one for this evening because remember, tomorrow evening now, we're going to be directly giving you the presentation, the resurrection, Rastafari, the resurrection of Prince Emmanuel, Charles Edwards, and of course when you come in you'll see what that is all about. I'm not going to even go into no talking about that. And let me also just say that yes, remember this is still available, of course, for those, well, my subscribers. I need not say, for my subscribers, for sure, you know, you'll be getting this right now. As soon as we're done, I'm going to be sending this by email to the inbox of all my subscribers. And for those who are not subscribers, please feel free. You can definitely give me a WhatsApp or give me a call or give me an email. You know, the WhatsApp call is area code 1268, area code 1268, and the number 728-3162, 728-3162. And of course, those also email, I should say, is Priest Isaac, PRIESTISAAC 27@gmail.com. You could definitely contact me, and all you have to say is, Priest, I'd like to subscribe, and I'll give you the details. Just keeping in mind that it will be at the cost of only 50 United States currency, and I say only and mean only, you know, in comparison to, you know, to what will be given from me to you. I mean, come on, you know, feel it. Come on, yes. So give thanks for your presence and give thanks for your love. I'm very happy, you know, the God of the River Nile, that you could have joined us this evening. And of course, I'm looking forward to your presence tomorrow. Please tell a friend about Radio Anu. You know, Radio Anu is not going anywhere. We have great programming. We have great understanding. We have good lectures, interviews, music. What else we have here? So many things right here. No matter what religious outlook you are, if you're just seeking knowledge, if you think you know it all, trust me, just coming in and listening to Radio Anu, you'll full joy it. Like in a few moments, we'll be having a great debate with the Church of Christ versus the some Hebrew Israelites in the debate here, coming up next, and I'm sure many of you will full enjoy that. I think a little bit later we're going to touch upon the assassination, the CIA. Yeah, after that I'll be running the CIA press conference or conference that they had. You want to hear this? Talking about the details of the assassination of Patrice Lumumba. So all of that right here on Radio, and so many different things. You have religious debate, and still you have things that ain't got nothing to do with no religion, African geopolitics. The killers talking about them killing Patrice Lumumba. I don't mean the documentary that you see on the internet, you know. Listen, man, just keep in tune. RadioAnu.com. and tell a friend and continue to listen. As I said, Mystic Vibration comes to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, that's it. At 6 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time. And just stick with Radio Noel. And remember, once again, as I said, feel free to contact me and say, Priest Isaac, I would like to subscribe to get my monthly Shock of the Hour Mystic Vibration programs in my email every morning. Hey, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of your Bible will become a mystery. Give thanks. Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie, Jah Rastafari.